In 1972, the crew of Apollo 17 returned to Earth, and humans haven't left low Earth orbit since. Now, after more than 50 years, we are finally heading back to deep space. This 10-day shakedown cruise serves as a rigorous test flight on a free return trajectory. Earth's and the Moon's gravity will naturally loop the crew out and bring them right back home without ever dropping into lunar orbit. If you look inside the vintage Apollo command module, you'll see a dense wall of analog switches and dials, packed into a space with only about 6 cubic meters of room for 3 astronauts. This animated diagram compares the volumetric sizes of Apollo and the new Orion spacecraft side by side. Orion is wider, at 5 meters across, giving it about 9 cubic meters of livable volume. That extra space means it can carry a crew of 4 instead of 3, and it even features the first deep space toilet. Pushing a larger, heavier, and completely modern capsule into deep space involves massive engineering hurdles. Proving that Orion's life support and navigation systems work out there is a prerequisite before sending a lander down to the lunar surface. Commanding the mission is Reed Wiseman. He's a 27-year Navy veteran and pilot who previously spent 165 days aboard the International Space Station. The pilot for Artemis II is Victor Glover. He already piloted Crew 1, the very first operational Crew Dragon mission to the ISS. Mission specialist Christina Koch holds the record for the longest single spaceflight by a woman, 328 days, and she helped execute the first all-female spacewalk. Rounding out the crew is mission specialist Jeremy Hansen. For the first time, a non-American representing the Canadian Space Agency flies on a lunar mission. During the space race, lunar crews were exclusively 3 American men. Today, a 4-person international crew reflects how modern deep space exploration relies on global partnerships. To throw that heavier Orion capsule to the Moon, NASA built the Space Launch System, or SLS. Standing 98 meters tall, it produces more thrust than any rocket NASA has ever launched. To generate its 39 meganewtons of thrust, the SLS borrows heavily from the Space Shuttle program. It uses 2 massive solid rocket boosters strapped to the sides, along with 4 RS-25 main engines at the bottom. A comparative bar chart measuring total liftoff thrust against lunar payload capacity reveals an interesting gap. Though SLS produces more thrust off the pad than Saturn V, it can only send 27 tons to the Moon, compared to the Saturn V's 45-ton payload. Getting this machine off the pad involves a tense automated countdown. At T-minus 33 seconds, the computers take full control through the automated launch sequencer. At T-minus 12 seconds, hydrogen burn-off sparklers ignite to clear out highly flammable gas pooling under the engines. While the engines themselves are proven 20th century hardware, the computer systems and automated launch protocols choreographing them are entirely new. If a single sensor detects an anomaly inside that final 33-second window, the computer will instantly scrub the launch for the day. Once clearing the tower, the ascent is violent. At 1 minute and 10 seconds, the vehicle hits max Q, the point of maximum aerodynamic pressure. Roughly a minute later, those 2 solid rocket boosters burn out and peel away from the core stage. Rather than shooting straight for the Moon, the rocket performs an apogee raise maneuver on day 1. This stretches their initial Earth orbit into a massive ellipse, pushing the high point, or apogee, out to 70,000 kilometers. This creates a safety loop. Coasting to that altitude gives the crew time to test Orion systems. If a component fails, orbital mechanics naturally pull them right back down into Earth's atmosphere for a safe re-entry on the next pass. Once the spacecraft checks out, they initiate the trans-lunar injection burn on day 2. The service module fires its engine, breaking them out of Earth orbit and officially pointing them toward the Moon. This stepped flight profile prioritizes hardware verification and crew survival. They only commit to the deep space transit after they know the ship can keep them alive. By day 4, the crew will reach the furthest point in their trajectory, pushing past 400,171 kilometers away from Earth. That distance breaks the record for human space travel set by Apollo 13. On day 5, they make their closest approach to the Moon, skimming about 7,400 kilometers above the lunar surface. From there, the Moon's gravity catches the spacecraft and slingshots it onto a return trajectory toward Earth. Fast forward to day 9, just before re-entry. The crew module detaches from the service module, exposing the heat shield that protects the astronauts from the extreme friction of hitting the atmosphere. Passing 8 kilometers in altitude, the drogue chutes deploy to stabilize the capsule. At 3 kilometers, the massive main chutes unfurl, slowing the vehicle down for a gentle splashdown in the ocean. A successful 10-day shakedown cruise proves this hardware can handle the extreme environments of deep space. Bringing this crew home safely provides the definitive engineering data required for Artemis II to put boots back on the lunar surface before the end of the decade.